Okay, so this is about witnessing without involvement. Now I invite you first, before we start, to center yourself, scan your body, become aware of your breath. Notice if your breath is shallow or deep, fast, slow. Notice what's happening inside your body, the energy moving. Is there a lot of tension? Is there a heightened sense of energy moving fast, vibrating quickly? Or is there ease and slowness? And we want to try and invite our body to maybe slow down and to maybe let go of any tension that is being held. So if you're noticing that your shoulders are raised and tense, maybe you can, with your awareness, allow them to soften, to relax down. Take any deep breaths that you feel like you have to take. Sometimes simply being aware that there is tension allows our body to then move through whatever it needs to move through to find relaxation. And oftentimes that shows by sighs, long inhales and sighs, or even yawning, our body sort of recalibrating. So the more we relax, the less we even have to do, but just simply shining our awareness inside and towards our bodies allows them to naturally do what they need to do to find balance. So many of us want peace. So many of us want to stop getting caught up in the swirls of our thoughts and emotions. So many of us want to step out of our personal stories of who we are and what has been done to us, or how life is, how unfair things are. We all carry these stories. And I think a lot of us are just so sick and tired of them. And with this episode, I want to invite you to not fix anything, change anything, or even figure anything out, but to simply explore what it's like to become the witness, to witness yourself, to witness life without needing to become it. So without identifying with any of it. All of us have experienced times in our lives where suddenly everything was still and we felt fully alive, or fully quiet and present. And I think a lot of us aren't aware that we are fully alive and present and still in these moments. We just think, I love this. This is, the thing that I want. So for example, a sunset. Oh my God, everyone loves sunsets. Everyone wants to go watch the sunset because it makes them feel something. And we directly think it is the experience out there in the world, the sun setting, that gives us this feeling of inner peace and stillness. But what is actually happening is that this experience is quieting us inside enough that we are at peace, that we are not caught in a story, that we are not caught in thought or emotions. And it is that is so great, that feels so good. It's not the sunset, though they are beautiful, but the feeling that you love so much while watching the sunset is the internal silence, the internal freedom, not being identified, being entirely the witness to something that is happening. And that's a doorway. This feeling that you get from, for example, the sunset. I want to invite you to think about that stillness we would feel while watching the sunset. What if that presence, that stillness is always there? Always waiting to be noticed. What if that state of being can be achieved, or not achieved, but can be lived, experienced always? Not just when something nice or pleasant happens in the world, but what if you could peel away enough of yourself and find enough distance that you don't personalize, that you don't identify, and that you then bask in this presence, in this stillness forever. Because that actually is how we are meant to live. That sunset feeling is how we're meant to be, always. That is the true freedom. That is when we become the witness. When we step out of life, step out of the ocean, and become the witness. I think it was Michael Singer who had a really nice analogy for this. He said, imagine you're a bird and you are in the ocean, on the ocean surface, and the waves are taking you up and down. And when the ocean is still, then you're sort of just, okay, you don't have to fear survival. You're just sort of quietly floating along. But as soon as it gets a little bit stormy and a little bit choppy, you freak out because you're not going to survive if you go under. So now you have to fight to stay afloat, fight to be alive. And it is not the nature of the bird to live in the water or on the water. A bird is meant to fly. And it is that untethering and that noticing that, wait a second, why am I victim to the ocean, victim to the weather? And no matter whatever happens on the outside, whatever happens with the weather and the water, it becomes my reality, and I am just doomed to live through it, to suffer through it. And only when it's calm and quiet can I breathe and exhale and just relax and catch my breath. And it is only when the bird realizes, wait a second, let me get out of this water, and begins to fly, that it can then, from the sky, where it is free and where it is naturally meant to be, it can then watch the ocean and the weather and the waves do whatever they may do, and the bird is free. It is untethered. It is witnessing the turbulence, the calmness, without being dragged into it, without having to worry, without being affected. So witnessing is sort of a return of the bird to the air. Now, to become the witness, we have to detach. And I want to be very, very clear that witnessing life without being a victim to it And detaching from life does not mean that you are going to be cold. And it does not mean that it is an escape from something that you don't like and you can't bear anymore. It's about staying open without being consumed. It is the ability to fully look and experience without being dragged down, without being pulled in, without identifying. So ultimately, detachment is love without clinging. See it like that. It is a full love. Unconditional love, without the clinging, without the aversion, without the constant having to pull and push and make things happen. Witnessing isn't really something that becomes a practice. It's not a practice. It's not something we do, like sitting on a cushion and meditating or chanting, going to an event to explore your shadow side. Those are all things in their own. I'm not against any of that stuff, but witnessing is not something you learn to do. It's more a shift in being. It's something that you become, or that you reveal, sort of on a deeper level within you that is already there. And I think we probably use moments of presence, like watching your breath, noticing a sound, or grounding yourself, feeling your feet underneath the earth. We use these practices to sort of become anchors, to help us switch, to shift out of this perceived I am the person, I am the mind, into becoming the witness. You see, so it all sort of plays together. It all intertwines. It all supports. Everything supports everything, even the pain, the struggles, even the being caught in life and feeling like you're stuck is supportive of the one thing we are all here to do, which is to return to who we truly are, to wake up, to become the witness. Pain pushes you in the right direction. So even that grueling storm has its purpose. And that is what is so beautiful about all of this. Because ultimately, wherever you are right now, whatever you are experiencing, whatever your fears, whatever you're stuck in, it is not a mistake. It's part of your becoming. And knowing that, you can relax and know that even that which you feel like is killing you is there to support you and there to push you into the right direction so that you can become who you're meant to be, so that you can wake up from this. So we have to learn to not get so entangled with our emotions. So for example, if you're in a conversation and say someone says something that hurts you, you feel the sting, and maybe you even feel anger rising inside of you. But then instead of reacting and getting consumed in this emotion, something in you pauses and you feel, but you also see yourself feeling. And that seeing is witnessing. So witnessing doesn't stop the feeling, it doesn't stop life from happening, but it allows it to move without turning into a storm. It allows it to happen without the identification that happens. And instead of identifying, I am angry, I am upset. He hurt me. I can't believe this happened to me, and all of that stuff. It gives space for compassion. Compassion where we can allow space to compassion where you allow space for I see this person is hurting. I see this person is saying things in anger, and I can feel their pain, and I can feel pain rising in me, and I don't lose myself in this story. I don't lose myself in what I am observing, what I'm witnessing. And basically you remain grounded and present and clear. And that is what sort of opens your heart and allows you to be fully in life, because you're not closing down. You're not becoming hard and having to retaliate and getting defensive. You're open, you're soft. There is such a softness and such a strength in that, in being compassionate, in becoming the witness. I just want to say this again because this is so important for me. There is such a thing as, spiritual bypass, where someone can't deal with the pain anymore and says, it's not happening anymore, I refuse to believe it, and they ignore their pain, they turn away from it and want to remain in peace, and they work on shutting everything out and just having a smile on their face. They shut other people out, they shut pain out, they shut their own pain out, and they want to just live in that bliss state. That is not what this is. There is something, and even when that happens, that is part of it. It is part of the journey. But beyond that is a space where you can become the vessel and the container for all of life, for all emotions. Every single one of them, the worst, the most horrendous grief and pain, where it can flow through you and where you can feel it, but you don't identify, you don't get lost, and it almost becomes a joy or a grateful experience to move through the most horrendous pain, because you know why you're doing it, you know why it's there, and being allowed to move through it becomes an experience of immense gratitude, where it is also part of your unbecoming. It is fuel for detachment, for purification. Detachment obviously is not something that we can easily do. Because we have really deeply ingrained habits, and it is very seductive to jump into them and to jump into every thought we have, into every emotion. And anytime life gives us something pleasant, it's so easy for us to just say, oh my God, I love this. I'll just do it one more time. So it's really important to be very gentle with ourselves. The witnessing isn't about avoidance, and it's not about control. You can't control, you can't force yourself to stop being a certain way or feeling a certain thing. But it is about remembering that there's a space, even while your story is playing out. If you are trying to witness and to detach and something pulls you in, then your job is not to feel guilt and shame and to force yourself to get out of it, but your job is to witness, to see, I have been taken. There's something worldly that is still so strong that it pulls me in. And you observe and you see it happen and you learn. And you know where your focus needs to go. You know what to work on, or you know where your undoing needs a bit more attention and a bit more practice and a bit more time. So really it is here is a problem I have. So for example, I personally have a very gentle problem. There are horrendous problems in the world, you know, and I mean it goes up into, you know, where your problem is maybe killing someone, or, you know, being a pedophile, or like something really, really like, damn, like most people don't want to go there and look at it. Or it can be something gentle, like what I have. I'm so addicted to chocolate. So when I move through, let's say I go to a cafe to meet up with a friend, and I have the best intention of nourishing my body in a healthy way. But then I get there and their special is, I don't know, a chocolate fondant with a gooey center, you know, with vanilla ice cream, and I don't know. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh my God, I love it. But no, I'm going to be good. Then I have to observe that. I have to watch that, what goes on inside of me. And if then the waiter comes and what would you like? And I order something healthy, let's say eggs and whatever, and then the waiter says, oh, our special today is this, and it's really, really good. You know, I've had it myself, and it's really good. If you guys love chocolate, you should try it. And then that sort of sways me, where I go like, what the hell, all right, come on, I'm gonna try it. And everyone is, you know, cheers me on, and oh my God, yes, you're gonna love it, and yay, you know, you gotta enjoy yourself, you gotta put yourself, like you can't always be so hard on yourself. And, you know, people say the nicest things, they think they're helping. And then there I am, eating my fondant. The thing that will help me, that will stop my growth the most, would be feelings of shame, of guilt, of thinking I failed. So it is in those moments that you just have to watch. You are simply watching. Ultimately, I will then, you know, watch myself. I will watch how I sabotage myself, how I sicken my body over the years, how I develop diabetes, how I have an early death. I'll be lying on my deathbed in my 60s or whatever from this horrible disease because of sugar, because of whatever. And in that moment, to soften and to witness. And it's just another moment, you know. So this is what happened. This is what I did. And it is just okay to be at peace with all of it, because we don't know why we're here and how our story is meant to unfold, how our life is meant to unfold. So do you see what I mean? So just observe. There's nothing you shouldn't do, because anytime you do and you change and you force, it's not you doing it. It is your thoughts again. It is your mind again. It is, this should not be, and I have to. It is this. You are, instead of witnessing, a part in the scene. You are not, you know, the detached witness that is not involved, but you are involved, because now you're meddling, you are changing, you are trying, you are fixing. And that is such a big challenge, especially for people who want to make changes, who want to be better. But we are trying, by becoming the witness, we are trying to not be involved. Total surrender, total detachment. Now this is also difficult because a detachment sort of, you know, this stuff, we have all this stuff that lives within our body. So it's not just our mind that wants to move us a certain way, but our actual physical brain operates in a certain way that we have fed it its whole life. It has these pathways that it keeps going automatically because it's used to it. And all of our cells in our body are programmed a certain way from cycling through the same thing over and over again, year after year, day after day, week after week. So this is another thing that happens automatically that we don't really have any control over, that needs to slowly change on its own. And that is, again, by us sort of stepping aside and allowing our body to do what it needs to do to heal, to change, to improve, to find different pathways that are better for its survival. And our body is incredible in the way that it does it on its own. It does it automatically without us interfering. Our bad habits happen when we interfere, when our mind interferes with our body. And then healing stops, growth stops, and we become sick. So even on this level, when we learn to detach and become the witness, you will witness your body heal itself. So this is, for example, where body scans are very useful. Instead of reacting and wanting to do things, you sit back and you turn within. You scan your body. You don't react. You allow yourself to remain calm while your body moves through stress. So yes, at first your body is going to do what it always did. It's going to have a stress response. It's going to produce a lot of stress hormones that are going to pulse through your body, and you simply watch. Learn to become aware of it, what it feels like, where you feel it in your body. And you try and remain calm even though your body is moving through stress, by being detached, by not taking it personal, by trying to be the witness that is still and not identified. So when you slowly evolve and you strengthen this sense of the witness, duality will always remain. No matter where you are, mentally, mindfully, even after your awakening, even after having this insight, there will always be duality. It'll always continue, just like the ocean will continue with its waves. But it all softens, and it softens a lot. So before awakening, before becoming the witness, duality or life will feel more like a battleground. And you are sort of a victim of it and at the mercy of whatever happens around you. And after awakening, and after becoming the witness, it feels more like a dance. So your ego will still speak, and life will still happen, but your heart sort of no longer believes whatever is happening and doesn't take it as the ultimate truth. It knows, you sort of become aware that you are watching this play, that you are watching this dance, and you love all of it. You know, like I mentioned before, even the most horrendous pain becomes this gracious dance that you know is happening for your benefit, for your ultimate benefit. And it allows you to have this soft, open heart and this gratitude towards everything. And it really does become a dance. So we want to slowly move from situational awareness to self-awareness. And that is, again, another take of, when it's, the internal and external world. We want to slowly move from the external to the internal. So situational awareness is when our attention is tied up to whatever is happening around us. Whatever is, so basically whatever the ocean is doing in that example I gave at the beginning. If the ocean is calm and quiet, then you are calm and quiet and you can relax and you're happy. You're content. You sort of feel safe enough to open up and to live life, to connect, to build things, to play. And then as soon as the waves come, you think, oh, holy shit, no, what's happening? Oh God, oh God, oh God. You shut down. It doesn't feel safe to connect. It doesn't feel safe to create, to be curious, to play. And life feels dull and painful and stressful. And it is our focus being in the world, and with that, at a complete loss of who we are and where we are and what's going on inside of us. And that's probably where you want to begin to really do turn inward and become self-aware. So when your awareness rests with what's happening inside of you, and to become aware of what's inside of you and what's happening without reacting, without looking towards the world. So even, don't get caught in the, let me sit down, scan my body, meditate, see what's happening. Oh my God, I love this. It gives me this beautiful feeling. Let me go out into the world now and create and get lost in it. I think a lot of us do this. I know I have, and I watch myself still do it. I get to a point where I'm so peaceful. I become so peaceful and so calm that I think, okay, now I can go out into the world and heal other people and save other people and connect and finally live this life that I've always wanted to live, from this place of safety and healing and I guess partially this is probably a good thing for people to live their life this way, but it opens you up to getting lost in the world and not going with what's inside and being led by your true self, by that stillness, but going back into the mind that is loving this newfound stillness, and now wanting to create and wanting to achieve things. This wanting to make a difference. There's a subtle difference there. Am I taking this newfound stillness and I am now wanting to live this newfound life, or this sort of life that is now available to me to be, for me to build? Or am I the stillness, and life is now unfolding from this stillness, and you are observing and watching? You see what I mean? So subtle. To become aware of that and not get lost in that is an art. It takes I guess practice. It does take practice. It takes time. It takes unpeeling. It takes a lot of awareness, a lot of stillness. And I watch myself move out into the world and still be the doer and get lost in it and wanting to be the one who helps. And I want to hear the thank you from others, and I want to know I make a difference. And here comes in that gentleness that we need with ourselves, where you see it, you become the witness of it, and you allow, and you soften into it, and you find compassion for it, and you try again. You see, so you always come back to the witness that observes, and it is not involved. This is not about me now having to, oh no, okay, I know I can't, I have to, all right, let me come back to meditate, I'm not allowed to move, and I shouldn't have, and none of that stuff is helpful. That's more of the same thing. But you learn to be that witness. You are watching your life. You are watching all of this unfold. Keep coming back to that witness. You are simply observing. This has nothing to do with you. So you set your own life, your own patterns, has nothing to do with you. It's just an energy playing out. That's your practice. That's my practice. I see myself doing it again. I don't beat myself up. I don't try to change it. I keep coming back to the witness. Everything else will happen on its own. Until we dissolve the idea of being someone. We spend our whole life trying to be someone. We want to be successful, we want to be kind, we want to be worthy, we want to be spiritual, we want to help people. I want to be a healer. It's all part of it. But witnessing reveals that the one trying is also just a thought, also just a role, also just a costume. It's once you get a glimpse of it and sort of, it's not an understanding, but I'm just going to say understand because I don't know what other word to use. But once you understand the difference and you understand what it is, what it means to be the witness, everything changes. Everything. It's almost like you've been playing a role your whole life on stage, and suddenly you realize, and it's a role that it's not pleasant, there's a lot of stress and a lot of fighting and arguments and whatever, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I am on stage, I'm in this costume, and I've been playing this role, and I can just stop. I can just walk off stage right now, take off my costume, and sit down and just relax and be me. And there's nothing stressful to get to, and nothing. It's just complete relaxation, and I don't have to be this person anymore. That's sort of what it's like. This freedom from this person, from this burdensome, I have to be, and people have to love me, and I have to be validated, and I want to, and I have to, and all of these must and should and can't, and so you gently and slowly return to what has always been here. The realization isn't about becoming something new. You're not becoming something new. You're not becoming a spiritual person, okay? A spiritual person is just another costume that you wear. But it really is a homecoming, a falling away of anything extra, the falling away of any costume, basically just leaving you naked. It's like peeling away the layers of noise, of thought, and of effort. And finding underneath all of that is this quiet presence that has always been there, that is always there. Never lost. Never something to have to build or to gain. It's always there. It's this awareness, always here. You were never a part of it. You just mistook yourself for the waves instead of just being the whole ocean, or instead of being the witness of the ocean. So I hope that sort of brought a little bit of insight into what it means to be the witness. And I would ask you now to listen into your body. I'm going to close this episode with just a gentle, guided moment of stillness. And I want you to pause here and just find a comfortable position. This isn't strict. You don't have to sit up straight. You can lie down. You can lean back. You can bring your knees up to your chest. You can curl up. You can lie sideways. Just relax. Then I want you to gently close your eyes if you can. Please don't do this while you're driving. If you are able to, close your eyes, if you feel safe to do so. And just feel your body resting wherever you are. whatever you're feeling in your body right now. Just notice your breath. Notice the rising of your chest or of your belly. And then notice the falling. Notice the relaxation with every exhale. And that stillness before taking an in-breath. And then feel your feet and your hands. Maybe become aware of the beat of your heart, if you can. And remember, we're not here to change anything, just to observe, just to witness. Allow everything to be as it is. Notice your thoughts and any sensations. And just let them come. And also notice them go. Notice the gentle movements. Maybe even the aversion to some of the thoughts, because you're thinking that maybe now is the time to be a bit quieter and not have these thoughts. Notice that too. And just become aware of how your thoughts are drifting like clouds in the sky. And now, try to feel the one who's watching it all. That quiet space behind all of it. And rest there, just for a few moments. And as you gently come back to your body, remember, you don't need to reach for peace. It's already here, beneath the noise, beneath everything that we perceive. You are already home.